Welcome back to Formal Fitness, everybody. I'm your host, Jim Dandy, and it is another 30-minute yoga. Alright guys, as always we start out by centering and balancing ourselves. So we inhale, nice deep breath, down in prayer. Again, nice deep breath, hands down in prayer, and once more, nice deep breath, hands down in prayer. Okay, we're going to come up again, deep breath. This time we lengthen those arms, nice stretch, bring it back, and we're going to come down, we're going to hug that tree, bend at the knees, the rear extends outward, and then we're just going to come up again, back slightly, and come forward, hug that tree once more. You know, I always like to do things in threes, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So here we go, once more. And come forward. Nice deep stretch. Turning sideways, you can see what I'm doing here. We're going to come up again. Lengthen. Come back. And forward. This time we're going to come down to his knees. And we're going to extend outward. And then we're just going to rotate, roll the shoulders, roll that spine, and then come back down, extend outward. Once more up, around that spine. And again, down and out. Once more, roll that spine. And down and out. And this time we're going to bring those arms back, and we're going to lean forward. We're going to come back. We're going to extend that upper back and those triceps and just stretch out and come deep into that squat. And then we're just going to bring those arms forward and up. Engaging the abs as we come up. Exhale. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, nice and tight. Again, inhale. Exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together, nice and tight. And once more. Come down, squeeze those shoulder blades together, nice and tight. And then we're just going to roll those shoulder blades back. Get a nice rotation there. Wide, nice and wide. Really open everything up. And a good full range of motion. Almost like we're doing a backstroke. And then we're just going to switch directions. Rotate those shoulder blades. This time clockwise. And open that up. Really get a nice, good stretch. And full range of motion. Okay. Now we're going to inhale again. Nice and lengthen nice and high, come back slightly. And we're going to lean forward into our forward fold. Come all the way down to the ground if you can. If not, just come down to the shins. If you have to bend the knees a little bit to make it all the way down, that's perfectly fine. We're all at different places here in our mobility. And we're just going to hold that forward fold. We're going to shake that head no. Shake it yes. Now while we're down here, we're going to grab our ankles. And we're just going to really lean forward and get really deep into that stretch. You should really feel it through here. Alright, bring those arms up. We're going to engage those abs as we come all the way up. And down in prayer. Moving into our forward fold once more. Inhale, nice deep breath. Arms up, lengthen, nice and high, coming back. And leaning forward again into that forward fold. And this time we're gonna walk it out to our down dog. And hold. Make sure you're nice and high. You want to really raise those hips towards the ceiling, get a nice deep stretch. Try and keep those legs firmly pressed on the ground if you can. If not, just get as close as you can. Really focus on getting into that deep stretch. And to deepen our stretch even more, we're going to come down on the forearms into our dolphin. Your heels may come up on this one, but try to keep them as firmly pressed as you can. And just really focus on keeping those hips nice and lifted. And back up into our down dog. Now we're going to walk it out even further into our plank. Nice flat back. Down into our chaturanga, or almost a reverse push-up. And down into our cobra. Eyes facing across the room, keep those shoulders down. Raise that back up, nice arch, really stretch out that lower back. And we're gonna come back up into our down dog. Okay, now, while we're in our down dog, we're gonna come forward slightly and go into a nice tricep press. You don't have to come all the way down, just do what you can. And if you want, you can come down to the knees to make it a little easier. But if you really want to be deep into that stretch, you're going to stay up on those toes. And just really stretch out those triceps. All right. And walking back out into our plank. This time we're going to hold that plank a little longer. It's all about the core today, guys. Now we're going to turn to the side. We're going to come down on that forearm into a nice side plank. Arm comes up for balance. Hold here. If you want to stay here, that's perfectly fine. But we're going to kind of dip down. Really get deep into that stretch. Nice. Now we're going to bring that arm around and thread it through, twisting at the hip. Nice. All right. Now this time, bring that arm out to the side. And this leg's gonna come forward. And down. All right, bring this arm down. I'm gonna come this way so you can see what I'm doing on this side as well. On the forearm, coming up, holding that side plank. And we're just gonna dip down and back up. Down and up. Down and up. Now we're going to thread it through. Rotate that to hip. Get nice and deep into that stretch. Alright. Now this arm comes down for balance. We're going to kick that leg out and back in. Out and back in. Out and back in. And once more. Alright. We're going to move back into that plank. Again, back into our chaturanga. And cobra. Remember to keep those shoulders down. And back into our down dog. Alright, this time we're going to lift that leg up, dog split. Nice deep stretch. And then we're going to bring that leg forward into our pigeon. Leg across the leg to the other side. And we're just going to exhale, lean forward, come down as far as you can. That chest should come down over the knee. Bring that head and the chest as close to the ground as you can. Try not to roll the hip to the side. You want to try to stay nice and lateral here as you come down. And just come down as far as you feel comfortable. You don't have to make it all the way to the floor. You just want to get a nice deep stretch. Okay, coming up. And we're going to grab our back leg here and pull it toward the hip. This arm's going to come up. And we're going to lean back, eyes towards the ceiling. Just really lean into that. And again, try not to roll the hips, try to stay nice and straight. And back down. Now this time we're going to bring our arms back here on the side of the hip. This arm's going to come back on the other side of the hip. Legs stay where they are. We're going to raise up and really stretch out that hip. Tighten that core as you lift yourself up. And just hold that. Really raise high and deep into that stretch. And come down. Now before we move on, we're going to go up into our tabletop. And we're just going to lean back into that child's pose. Nice deep stretch, really stretch out that lower back. And come back up. We're going to thread that needle. Right arm comes down. Extend it as far as you can. And then we're just going to come down on the head and lower that chest. Bring the opposite arm forward as far as you can. And really just stretch out that lower back and those shoulders. And then come back up slightly. Back into that tabletop. And we're going to go to the other side now. Arm comes all the way through. And just really get deep into that stretch. Chest comes down, arm comes all the way out, extend it. Just get nice and deep into that stretch. And then come back up. And now we're going to push off back into our down dog. Come up, nice and high. Remember, hips raised towards the ceiling. And then we're just going to come up to the other side, dog split, because what we do to one side, we always do to the other. That's how you maintain a balance. And hold that nice deep stretch. And then bring that leg forward, pigeon. Other side now. Try not to rotate the hip. Try and stay nice and straight. And as we exhale, we're just going to collapse toward the floor. Chest is going to come over that knee. Arm comes forward. Bring that head down. And just get really deep into that stretch. You really want to get a nice deep stretch through here. Okay, and then we're going to inhale, come back up. We're going to grab that back leg, bring it up toward the hip. Arm comes up this way and we're going to lean back. Again, trying to stay straight and not rotate those hips. If the knee has to come out to the side slightly, that's perfectly fine. And we're just going to really lean back into that stretch. Get our upper obliques and our glutes. And back down. Okay, this time we're going to keep the legs out to the side. Arm comes on one side of the hip, left arm, right arm and back. We're going to inhale and we're going to push it all the way up. Nice and high. Get as high as you can. Arms should be nice and straight. And just really get deep into that stretch. Really stretch it all out. Tighten that core to help you stay up. And back down. Nice. All right. We're going to swing those legs forward. And go into our toddler. Legs come together. Try and bring them in as close as you can. And for some, that's not as easy as others. and we want that spine nice and straight. So try not to slouch at the shoulders, but we want to come down. We're going to bring those arms up. We're going to exhale. We're going to come forward. Try and bend at the lower back. We're stretching at that lower back here. If you can, grab a hold of those toes to help get deeper into that stretch. And you want to push those thighs out to the side as well. They're going to want to come up. So you want to really push those out. If you have a strap, you can use a strap to help pull yourself deeper into that stretch. And you just want to exhale. The more you exhale, you're going to be able to get deeper into that stretch as you release that air. And just get really deep into that stretch. Okay, and we're going to come up. Now we're going to bring one leg in all the way. This leg is going to come out. And we're going to inhale again. Exhale. Come out as far as you can. Again, this is a good time to use your strap if you have one. And just get really deep into that stretch. And back up. Now before we move on, we're going to grab this leg here. Left hand is going to hold the foot. You're going to cup the knee with this hand. And we're just going to rock that leg back and forth. And really get a nice rotation in that hip. And squeeze this leg up into our chest and just get a really nice extension there. And stretch that out. Okay, this leg is going to come down. We'll bring this leg out and we will switch. This leg comes in now. Left leg is going to come down nice and straight. Again, we inhale, exhale, come all the way forward. Try and grab those toes, really stretch it out, collapse into that stretch, release all that air. And come back up, grabbing this leg, this time the right hand, grabbing the toes, left is going to cup that knee, and we're just going to rock it back and forth, side to side. And down. Now this time, we're going to bring the knees together, we're going to give it a nice hug, and bring that spine, bring that back, the shoulders nice and high. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, get a nice deep stretch. Lengthen that lower back, really stretch it out. And then we're going to roll ourselves back and down to the floor. Now, palms are going to come down to the side. Bring those knees in as close as you feel comfortable. And we're going to lift up into our bridge. Nice and high. If you want, rest those elbows down and press up on those hips to get an even higher stretch. And we're just going to hold that nice and high. If you really want a nice deep stretch, come all the way up. All that should be down is your head, your elbows, and your feet. And just really get those hips nice and high. And then we're going to release. Now we're going to bring those feet together again, hips pressed out to the side. And we're going to come up again into that bridge. This time we're really stretching up those inner thighs. And always make sure you keep that core nice and tight. It's always good to keep that core engaged because it connects to every part of the body. And again, you can come up on those forearms and press yourself up into an even deeper stretch. Nice and high. And release. Okay, while we are down here, we're going to do a little more core work. So this arm is going to come across the torso and point this direction. This arm we're going to come back. I'll come forward just a little bit. And as we inhale, we're gonna raise up toward that knee. And just give it a nice tap. And come back down. Try and get the shoulder blades up off the ground. And again. And down. Switching sides. Coming up. And this isn't a race. We want a nice deep extension. Focus on that breath. Exhaling as we come down. Inhaling as we go up. And just really get a nice stretch. And back down. This time both arms, we're going to come up toward the knees. And we're just going to kind of pulse. Pulse upward. You're going to feel a nice stretch down in this lower area here. And just focus on that breathing. And back down. Now we're just going to bring those knees in, pull them as close to the chest as you can. Give yourself a nice hug and just rock it back and forth. Let those hips roll up and off the ground. Just a nice little stretch. Now we're going to bring those legs down. Raise them slightly off the ground. And bring those arms overhead. And we're just going to raise up slightly. Bring those hands to the knees. Knees to the hands. Really engage that core as you lift yourself up. And once more. Good. Now bring those arms up to the side. Rotate those shoulders. Give it a nice squeeze. And we're going to bring the leg up. We'll start with the right leg. We're going to come up and down slowly on a nice 3 count. And once more. Other side. Again, just on a nice 3 count. Really extend that stretch. Again, this isn't a race. You just want to focus on your breathing and really focus on feeling that stretch. And once more. All right, hands to the side. One more thing here. We're going to bring those legs up and we're just going to cross them. Nice little scissor step, but laying down. Again, keep that core engaged as you hold yourself up. And once more. And release. Nice. We're going to bring those knees up again once more. This time, arms come out to the side. And then we're just going to bring those knees down to one side. And we turn and look in the other direction. And we're going to stretch out that lower back, those glutes. Try and keep those shoulder blades on the ground. They're going to want to lift up. You want to just nice flat back and just rotate there at the hips. And we're going to come up and to the other side. This time we're looking in the opposite direction, making sure we keep those shoulder blades on the ground. And back up. Inhale. Exhale. Roll yourself back up. And we're going to bring those legs in and sit Indian style. Nice and tall. Once more, we're going to inhale and come forward. This is a good time to use a yoga brick if you have one. Just come forward as far as you can. If you focus on that breath as you exhale, you should be able to push yourself forward just a little more, and you're really going to stretch out that lower back. It's good to keep that back nice and loose because it connects to everything. And we're just just going to really relax deep into that stretch. And come back up. Alright, now we're going to stretch out our biceps. Just a nice deep stretch. Stretch out that wrist. We use our wrist a lot in yoga. It's good to stretch those out as well. And the other side. Nice and low into that bicep. And again, stretching out the wrist. And we're going to stretch out those triceps. We did a little tricep work earlier. Other side. And then we're just going to bring one arm across, the other over. Stretch out those obliques. We're going to come up, bring that neck down. Arm comes back and clench that shoulder. Really stretch out between the shoulder and the neck there. Other side. Up and over. Stretch out that oblique. Nice and deep. Alright, we're going to come up. Arm comes back, squeeze that shoulder blade. And release. We're just going to bring those arms up and down, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And we're just going to turn that neck. Nice full rotation of the neck. And again, up. Nice deep breath, inhale, lengthen. And release. Ending our class. Namaste.